Will a 1098 help your taxes? Maybe. The answer is maybe. First of all, what is a 1098? A 1098 is a mortgage interest statement. What is that? It's a statement of how much mortgage interest you paid a lender during the year. And so this question of, will 1098 help my taxes, can be more appropriately phrased as, will I be able to deduct the mortgage interest that I paid during the year to a lender? And the answer to that question is complicated. If we're talking about the mortgage on your primary residence, or a second home, or let's just take the primary residence, you may be able to deduct it, right? To the extent that you itemize your deductions. If the sum of all your itemized deductions, including your mortgage interest, is less than the standard deduction for the year, then no, for federal income tax purposes, that 1098, it didn't really directly affect your taxes, okay? Because you're taking the standard deduction anyway. However, if you do take those itemized deductions, then yeah, that mortgage interest will likely help you with your tax situation. There's limits based on how much you can deduct of the total mortgage interest you paid during the year. For older mortgages, you're looking at the mortgage interest on up to $1 million of principal. For newer mortgages, that amount is $750,000. So yeah, that's like for personal interest, right? Like for the home you live in. Now, what about for like a rental property? Okay, yeah, you can definitely deduct that mortgage interest you pay on your rental property against your rental income. Now, will it actually benefit you this year in reducing your taxes? Well, that depends on a few things. Rental income is generally considered passive income, and you can typically only take passive losses against your passive income. There is an exception if you material participate in your rental properties and you make less than $150,000 a year. You may be able to deduct a portion of your rental losses against your ordinary income up to $25,000 worth, okay? But even if you can't deduct all of your rental losses this year, they get carry forward to future years as a passive activity loss carry forward, which you then can count against future passive income, right? Or when you sell the property, that loss just gets entirely released. So, the answer to the question, will 1098 help my taxes? In general, the answer is yes, but it's a little more complicated than that, and it depends on what you're paying interest on, personal home or rental property, as well as other factors of your tax situation.